All right, so sorry I'm a little late. My computer always has a hard time waking up in the morning. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get logged in. So we're looking at 7227. All right, let me record that. 7227. All right, and let me go ahead and bounce out of some of these things I'm in. All right, and let me come back over here. And what we're doing today is a review for your test that you're going to have next week. All right. So we're looking at test 2 on Tuesday. And today is just a review for that test. All right. So I'm not going to go over every single one of the questions from the review. However, I will go over enough that you're going to, that could help you to be successful on the test. So just so you know. If you need anything else, just let me know outside of what I've covered. So let's go ahead and bounce into Alex and look at the practice test. You should have a copy of that practice test. All right, 7227. All right. All right, so test 2 review. That's it says it's upcoming. Let me change that parameter. The test 2 should be already open and it's not. Let me make it. All right, now look for it if you can. I mean, because you should now be able to see it. It said it was upcoming. Now it should be open. All right. If it was said, I didn't. Okay. Can you guys hear me or no? Okay. So, okay, good. All right. I just want to make sure. Now, you guys should be able to see this now. All right. Where it says test 2 review. This one's I'm going to look at this one now. Test 2 review. Because the reason why I want to open it is because you can follow along with me while we're doing it. So if you open it up, you don't have to just listen to me, which is kind of boring. You can actually do this with me. So while I'm working on mine, you can be working on yours. All right. You know what's so beautiful about this? I just realized. Look at it. Send this to the calculator. Boom. Let's look at the calculator. Are you kidding me? That is amazing that they just did this. They just went ahead and sent all this data to the calculator, and all I got to do is then put plus signs between them. That's kind of cool. I don't have to type it all in. All right, and then hit enter. And then I'm going to divide that by how many numbers there are, which is 7, right? So we're looking at rounding to the nearest tenth. So then that would be 12.1. Oh, I love that about that feature. Send the data to the calculator. Yes, please. All right. So the mean is add up all the numbers together and divide by the number of numbers you have. All right, now median. You can't send this one to the calculator. I mean, because the way this works is you have to put in an order from least to greatest. So we're going to do that. All right, so let me go ahead and half this and put this here. All right, 7227. Can you hear me? 7227. All right, cool. All right. Now, when we're looking at this, right, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Okay. So now we're going to put this in order from least to greatest. So we're looking at 5, and then 2 6s. We're looking at a 9, 2 11s, and then we're looking at 14 and 16. Now, there's 8 numbers here. Since there's 8 numbers here, the median is going to be between these 2 numbers. Right? I just split it right in half. All right? So then that means 10 has got to be my number because 10 is in between 9 and 11. So I want to go ahead and put that answer in, all right, as far as I'm concerned with that. So we're going to put 10. Now it says the mode. The mode is, we don't have to send this to the calculator. All we got to do is go ahead and look for the number that's occurring most often. So we look at 2, and 2 is repeated 1, 2, 3 times. 3 is repeated 1, 2, 3 times. 4 is repeated 1, 2, 3 times. And 1 is repeated twice, and 0 is repeated once. So now that means we have 3 modes. 2, 3, 4. Now with this one, you're just going ahead and plugging in the value of whatever input we get. So we're getting the value of input as 1. So what we do is we place it in for the value of x. And then we can multiply that out. 6 times 1 is 6. All right. And then plus 3 is 9. You can do that mentally. And then you likewise do that for the same thing on the other ones. So you're going to just put in 4. That's 24 plus 3 is 27. And then you're going to go ahead and do it with the 6. 6 times 6 is 36. 36 plus 3 is 39. And lastly, it's 3, and then it's 6 times 8. All right. So you're looking at 48 plus 3 is 51. And then those are the numbers we're plugging in. So then we're looking at 9, 27, 39, and then 51. So it's just a matter of multiplying and then adding the 3, right? And they're going to give us quite a few of these. I think there's 3 of them in a row. Again, you would just take the -5 times 3 is positive 30 plus 1 is 31. -1 times -6 is positive 6 plus 1 is 7. 0 times 6 is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 times -6 is -6 plus 1 is -5. So you can see I didn't need to write any of this down. However, that's just because, you know, I can retain numbers in my head, right? Some of you are not that good at that, so you need to write it down. Now, this says, how far does Yolanda drive if she uses 2 gallons of gas? Well, 2 times 25 is 50. It's all it is, plug and chug. This again is about plug and chug again. So you can go ahead and use a calculator. There's no shame in any of that. Let me get some more light in here. My camera looks blurry. Let's see. All right. I don't know what's exactly going on, but it looks blurry to me. All right. Now I'm going to turn this guy on. Yeah, that's just so blurry. I don't know what's going on here. I'm going to try to fix it, guys. Sorry. All right. I'm going to shut this down and restart it. It doesn't look good to me at all. Oh, that's a lot better. A lot better, guys. Thanks for your patience because I couldn't stand that. It looks so blurry. All right. Now I'm looking at this, right? And let me get it in a place where you can see my concept. All right. So all I'm doing is taking 50.50 and then I'm subtracting from that 0.09 times 50. And you have your own graphic, your own calculator, your own system of approach to that. And you have 46. And we could use the calculator on this right here, actually, too. Is there a calculator on here? No, there's not a calculator. Okay. They don't provide a calculator on this one. All right, let's take a look at this one. It says that Susan works at Adventure Fun Park. She notices that a daily number of tickets sold at the park varies with the daily high temperature. What is the independent variable in this relationship? So the independent variable is one that is not controlled by anything else, right? The number of tickets sold depends on the high temperature, all right? So the daily temperature is the independent variable because it doesn't care about number of tickets sold or anything, but the number of tickets sold does care about the high temperature. So that's why that's the independent variable is the high temperature. All right, the amount of certain medication taken in the morning influences the amount of sleep that night. Which is the dependent variable? Now, the amount of sleep depends on the medication. And now the function relates to the input, M. Input is independent. So which is independent is M. That's really an easy way of remembering it. All right, now this one is the shaded region. All you got to do is multiply 3 times 4, or more simply 12. You can count them up physically if you wanted to without multiplication, but that's time consuming. In this case, you're looking for the area of the rectangle, so it's 6 times 11, or 66. Now, in this case, we're looking at the radius of a circle is 7 meters. It wants to know the exact area and the exact circumference. Now, you might need to write this down, all right? You might need to write the formulas down for this, because I've already given them to you once before when instructing this, all right? I can go back if I wish. I mean, I can go back to when I taught it to you, but there's no sense in that, right? I can then do it right now. So you can look at the list of the geometry formulas if you want, but definitely let's take a look at something. You're allowed to use an index card. So area is equal to pi r squared. Pi r squared. So we need the radius for that formula. For the circumference, you could have the diameter or the radius, because it's diameter times pi, or it's 2 times the radius times pi. What's 2 times the radius gets you back to the diameter. That's why you have that formula. So if we're looking at this, all right, is the radius given to us is 7, then when we go ahead and find the exact area, and we're going ahead and plugging it in, all you got to do is say, well, 7 times 7, because that's the area formula, is radius squared. Then it's going to be 49 times pi. That's the exact value of the area. Whereas when it comes to the circumference, it's double the radius, which 2 times 7 is 14 times pi. So the circumference is 14 pi. And that's what we're going to put in there, right? So exact area is 49 pi. And with the meters squared, because that's area. And then we have the exact circumference, as we said before, is 14 pi. And this time just meters. All right. Now we use a calculator to go ahead and to generate the value of that. Now, looking at this right here, all right, this is just a graphing calculator. If you have one, so be it, but it doesn't matter. You don't need it. I've been using a regular standard calculator before, and make all this noise here. I mean, I can go back to this. If the calculator, graphing calculator is bothering you, I can use this one. It's not that big of a deal to me. I was using the graphing calculator earlier, so I just was continuing to use it, but I don't have to now. I can use this. So if we look at this, we're going to be looking at the 49 shift the pi, we get that. So we're going to go ahead and plug that value in. So 153.93, because they're looking for the nearest 100. Actually, it's 94. And that's meters squared. This should always be the same. Now, circumference, taking 14 times pi, we're going to go ahead and get this. Okay. So we're looking at 43.98. And then remember your meters. So there's a good chance you're going to have this kind of question on there. Are there any questions regarding how I did any of what I just did? I mean, it's about a calculator. It's about understanding the exact area and exact circumference. Is there any questions on that? All right. Well, you guys, your silence indicates you understand what you're doing then. Okay? So make sure that you own that. Like I said, by the time I get to question number 25, it seems like it gets very repetitive. It gets, where to the point where I'm exhausted doing, because it's the same thing over and over again. And I don't need to do it over and over again. All right, now this case right here, you can do 5 to the third power because it's 5 times 5 times 5. So we get 125 here. So the solid, this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 4 is 20 times 3 is 60. Now, conversions. I've taught you how to do conversions as well, right? So we're looking at repeating some of the things that we've done before. We're trying to take 16.871 miles over 1, and we're trying to change it into feet. But before we change it into feet, we got to put miles on the bottom, and then we got to put feet on the top, because the miles will cancel out the miles. That's what we ultimately want to happen. So the information that we have is that there's 5,280 feet equals 1 mile. And that information you can get simply from over here. All right. So that's what we're looking at. So now, because of that, because they're next to each other, horizontal means to multiply. So horizontal multiply. So I take the 16.871 times that against 5,280. And then there's my answer. So 89,078. And then it says nearest 10th. So I'm looking at that. So punching that in, we get our answer. So 89,078.9. All right. Now they say, oh, it's correct. However, you should put a comma between it. Not necessary. I mean, if you want to put a comma, you're more than welcome to it if you want. Now, in this case right here, we're looking at changing from feet to miles. Well, we need to knock out the feet, so we're looking for one that has feet on the denominator, and the one that we're looking for is this one. Oh, I wonder, they don't have anything else with feet on the bottom, so the only one that makes sense then to select is that one. And because it's the feet are diagonal, that's good. That means they knock out. The ones are diagonal, that means we're going to divide. So taking the 4,752, we're going to divide that by 5,280. So we're looking at 0.9 miles, or 0.9 miles. So this is nothing but just remembering the setup. And I mean, they give a lot of questions like this. So you put 9 pounds over 1, knowing that I'm going to go ahead and put pounds in the bottom. All right, 16 ounces is equal to 1 pound. Therefore, 9 times 16 equals 144. 4,000 pounds over 1, and then pounds need to be knocked out. 2,000 pounds equals 1 ton. All right, so that means the pounds will knock out, but that means I take 4,000 divided by 2,000, and then that's obviously 2, right? So that's 2 tons. And common sense could have set in there. You probably think to yourself, you didn't need to use a calculator or a setup or anything. You know that. But it's not about that. It's about the process. It's not about what you know. It's about how you do it. And so if you continue this process, right, it's going to be very repetitive. So you're looking at 9 pints over 1, and we need to knock out the pints. We're trying to convert it to cups. And if you look at the values up here, 1 pint equals 2 cups. So 1 pint equals 2 cups. That means we multiply. So that's 18 cups because the pints are out. So you put 18. All right. Now, try to utilize this space as much as possible. I have 8 quarts over 1. I'm knocking out the quarts. So I put gallons on the top. And 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. So, and it says that right here on the top. All right. So it says it right there. So 4 goes into 8 2 times. So our answer is 2. They're giving us nice, convenient, easy numbers. And that's how it is for the test as well. So if you're given that, then you shouldn't have any trouble doing it. Now, if you recall, this is King Henry died, unfortunately, drinking chocolate milk. So recall this. King Henry died. Now, die is D-A, by the way. It's because it's Deca. And then, unfortunately, drinking chocolate milk. All right. So you have all the acronyms. All right. Now, it gives us the 2,000 grams. So we're here at grams because this is liters, liters, meters, and grams. All right. So we're here at grams, and we're looking at how many kilograms it is. So we're going to go from grams over 1, 2, 3 units to the kilograms. So that means we take the decimal point located after the whole number and move it the same direction, 1, 2, 3. So that is equal to 2 kilograms. So that's it. How fast is that? There's no need to memorize any of this stuff over here as long as you remember King Henry died, unfortunately, drinking chocolate milk. All right, now paper is 72 square inches. It does give you the conversion. It wants what is the paper in square centimeters, and it tells you that 1 square inch is equal to 6.5 square centimeters. So again, this is, like I said, this is going to be repetitive. We have the square inches over 1. We're going to go in and put the square inches on the bottom to knock out the square inches, and then we're going to put the square centimeters. All right, square centimeters here, and it says that 6.5 centimeters is 1 square inch. So that means since we're horizontal, we multiply. So like I said, this is very repetitive because it is. All you got to do is remember my setup trick, and then you get, it doesn't matter what information you're given, you can do them all. So this is 468. Now I move so passionately through this and so easily because I don't even question how I'm setting it up. It's because it's always the same way. Is I put the number over 1, I put the conversion factor I'm moving away from diagonal from each other, and I just put the coinciding values that go with it next to the letters, and then boom, it tells me whether or not I multiply or divide. Because remember, it's horizontal multiply, and then if it's diagonal, you divide, and that's the information you need to know. It's that simple, guys. I mean, don't overthink it. A lot of you get into a dark hole and you start overthinking everything. All right, so now, and some of you are going to easily use the excuse, oh, Mr. D just goes too fast and I can't understand what he's doing. Then that means you just don't understand what you're doing. Yeah, you don't understand what you're doing, and you're not studying, you're not preparing yourself. Because if I'm going too fast, it means you don't know what you're doing. I mean, and you're unprepared for this test. You need to study harder. I can't stand it when students says I move too fast. Don't ask me any questions, and then I'm assuming that they understand what they're doing, but then I can't jump in your head and determine whether or not you understand it. And some of you are, so incredibly lazy that you don't even want to pay attention to me when I'm going over things. Now that's perhaps not you. I'm not saying you, but anybody who is not engaged and not doing what they need to do to be successful is who I'm referring to, right? I don't ever call out anybody. All right, so here we go ahead and look at this, and we're saying we have speed of approximately 8 miles per second. So we're looking at 8 miles per second. So the second is on the bottom here. Now we're looking at trying to find out, and looking at the value of this, it's miles per minute. Well, miles per minute, there are 60 seconds in a minute, so we need to get rid of the seconds. This is 1 minute, all right? We need to get rid of the seconds. Now, likewise, it doesn't ask us to changing the miles, though. The miles stay the same, so we don't have to change the miles to anything. All we got to do is change this minute, the second, into minutes, and then that means that we're going to multiply because it's horizontal. So then I'm just going to take 8 times 60, and that's 480, all right, miles per minute. And now we have that information. How many did they travel in 5 minutes? Well, all you got to do is take that value and multiply it by 5. And then we get 2,400. So we're looking at 480 and then 2,400. And then we get our answer. And I don't even question it. I know it's right because the setup is always the same. I never move in fear when it comes down to this. I just move with purpose. Now this one right here is the euro and the dollar. Remember, use the dollar sign for a dollar and use E. Let's use E, a lowercase e, for euro. All right. In that case, then we have $1 equals 0.69 euro. I kind of squeezed that in there. Now, in that case, then we're taking 71.33 euro, putting it over 1. Take the euro, put it on the bottom here, put the dollar sign up there, and $1 equals 0.69 euro. So all I got to do is take and divide 71.33 divided by 0.69. And then we get our answer of 103 point, and they want it near cents, so it's going to be 38 cents. Yeah, 38 cents. So I'm going to take 103.38. All right, now, okay, I'm dividing, yep. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and move along. We got 143.28, that's dollars, and we're putting it over 1, and we're going to go ahead and say, well, $1 equals the 0.69 euro. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and multiply. So taking 143.28 times the 69, and we're going to get our answer. So that's 98.86. All right. All right, we're almost to that point where we're going to see a lot more repeating. This was different. The euro, the concept of the dollar one really upsets students. So I definitely am glad to cover that one. I don't know why the money one really bothers a lot of students. Now this one, it's a gift if you get it. I mean, you probably won't get this question, by the way. I mean, it's just too easy. But if you do, hey, I'm not promising anything. I'm not going to say it's not on there, but it's a gift if it is. All right, now this one, all right, this comes from the last lesson we just did, obviously. All right, so we're rounding to the nearest 10th first. So it's 18.7, or yeah, 18.7 because it's 5, so we're going to raise that 6 to 7. So it's 18.7, and then it's added to 7.2. Now, mentally doing that, right, 7 added to 18 is 25. So I'm going to put 25 in there, and then 7 added to 2 is 9. I mean, so I go ahead and put my answer in mentally doing it. But you can use a calculator, and please just round off to the nearest 10th first before you go ahead and do that. Now, I know some of you are going to use a calculator on this one, but here is how you do it mentally. You round off to the nearest $10, so it's going to be $80. You take 10% of that, you split the 15% into 2 parts, 10% and 5%. That makes 15% total. You take 10% of $80, which is $8, because that's really easy. You just move the decimal. So it's $8, half $8, that's going to give you $4, because you're looking for the 5% now. 5 is half of 10, so half of 8 is 4. So 4 plus 8 is 12. That's my answer, is $12. That is the tip I would leave on the table. And as I said to you, once we get to question number 25, it seems as though we have a lot of repeats. Now, I've already done this question. I'm not going to do this one again. And I've already did this one. This is the King Henry died, unfortunately, drinking chocolate milk. All right, this is conversion. I've done plenty of that. Unless you need me to do it, let me know. If you need me to do it, I'll do it. But just raise your hand or just say, yes, Mr. D, go over it. I need help. All right. Here we've done something like this before. Okay. Now, this one, we have to change the kilometers to miles, and that's all we have to do. We don't have to change the seconds into minutes like we did that one. So it's a lot the same. All right, we've done one with radius. We didn't do one with diameter, but half of the radius, or half the diameter, is radius, as you know. So this is just nothing but following a formula that we've gone over already. Again, take note about which question you want me to do. If you want me to do it again, don't let me have to find it for you. All right, so this question we've already done. Independent, dependent variables. Same thing here. And you can see we've done this before as well. All right, so I can continue to do this for the rest of these. I mean, it's the same thing. We've done all of them already. They're just going to repeat. See, there's another one of these. Now, you can see that we've done this already, mean. I mean, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this process of going over questions we're already going over. But if you have any questions, by all means, by any means you need, go ahead and reach out to me. Make sure you understand this, because your test will be very reflective of this. Now, we will be meeting in here first on Tuesday, and then from there, once we meet, we're going to go ahead and go to Zoom, and I'll give you the link and everything else, and then you just go on to Zoom, and then I'll watch you doing your tests on Zoom. The reason why I use Zoom is because on Blackboard Collaborate, I can't see but only 3 of you or 4 of you. All right, so I want to be able to see all of you, so I'm using Zoom. So I will ask you to do that. Make sure that you have your index card already prepared if you wish to use an index card. But be prepared for the test, okay? It's coming at you. Are there any questions for the better of the whole group? Yes?
I had one. I was doing a lesson last night, and for some reason, on
Uh-huh.
the calculator, it doesn't show the correct answer. It gives me the answer as a fraction. So I wanted to ask you why. I mean,
Okay.
I took a picture of
Yep,
a
yep.
question. It says
No problem.
an aquarium tank holds 91 gallons of water. How much is it in liters? Use the following conversion. It says 1 gallon is 3.8 liters. So when I did the math on the computer, for some reason, like I said, it gives me a fraction. I don't know why.
Okay. I mean, see, so on this calculator, let's say I had a fraction, all right?
Okay.
1/2. And that comes back as a fraction. I would hit this SD button, and it gives me as a decimal. So
Okay.
it's standard to decimal, decimal to standard.
Okay. Let me see. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah, because when I did it on
Yeah,
my phone, it
that's
gave me
a good
the
thing.
answer. Yeah.
Yeah. So now you know what that button does, right?
Okay. Yep. That was the part that
All
confused me.
right, cool.
Thank
That's a
you.
good question. Great question. All
Thank
right, no problem. All right, any others?
On Alec, it said that the test was on Thursday, I thought. Or
Don't worry about what it says on Alex.
okay.
I'll be changing that date. I mean, the test is going to be just always make sure you follow the schedule of activities.
Okay.
And it's going to be on Tuesday. So it's right here. The test is on the 4th, right? And and oh, it does say the 4th, and it looks like you're right. It is on 4th. So on Tuesday, right? Yeah, so you're right. It says the 4th. So I'm wrong.
Okay.
So on the 23rd, excuse me, on the 2nd, excuse me, on the 2nd, that's a portfolio day. See how I have a portfolio day?
Mm.
Um, on Tuesday, guys, it's going to be a portfolio day, and I didn't record that for one reason and the next. But so your test is going to be on Thursday. So that's my bad. So everybody understand that? Thank you for that. Who was that? McKinley?
Yeah.
All right, McKinley, thank you. So definitely it's on Thursday. So I always follow the schedule activities. So I said Tuesday, but I assumed the 4th was the Tuesday, but it's not. 2nd is the Tuesday. So we've done our review. So this gets you a whole week worth of getting ready for the test then, okay? Thank you, McKinley, for that. All right, so then we'll have a portfolio day on Tuesday, and then if you have any questions on portfolio, we're going to go ahead and reserve that for that day, okay? For the 2nd. Your portfolios are due on the 7th, okay? So that's why I wanted to have a portfolio day. I could have changed this, but that gives you guys extra time for a review. You guys are okay with having the test on Thursday, or would you like the test on Tuesday and have portfolio on Thursday? Is there any requests to change that?
I thought at the bottom of the schedule activities it said that the portfolios are due March 7th.
They are, yes, they
Okay.
are due March 7th, correct.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean that stays the same. But I mean, is there any interest in changing the test on Tuesday versus Thursday? Is there any interest in that? Or would you just like to stay with the schedule of activities?
Stay with the schedule activities.
Okay, so Thursday it is. That's. I wanted to get some feedback on that. Okay, so schedule of activity says Thursday, then we're going to do it Thursday. Just note that on the 2nd we're going to be doing portfolio. Any questions you might have on portfolio, you reserve that for the 2nd then. All right. Any other questions? All right, well, I'm going to stop the recording. Thanks, guys, for great questions.